Saudi Cup, and welcome to another episode for the Funkit Pod. It's Friday, and you know what it means, Media Friday. Let's talk about what happened in the media. And there are a few things, well, there's one main thing I want to talk about, but there are a few things, like a few news that broke that I'm just going to go through rather quickly, just so that we're like, okay, check the news, but then we talk about let me get a deeper voice. Then we're going to talk about this one. I can do it. We talk about this one thing. All right, so first, I'm the realist. If you know those lyrics, you're as old as me. Thailand, or the Bangkok Post reported that in Thailand, the digital media spending is set to increase by 11%, which is kind of nice because, well, digital marketing and so on, that's what I do. So that's cool. However, I also have to say, not surprised. If you're surprised by those things, actually 11% is not that much. I do understand, like in a pandemic, companies spend less, and I talked about this on a previous podcast like a few weeks ago. You spend less during the pandemic, but if you spend, wouldn't you spend it digitally because pandemic, everybody's at home using the internet? Wouldn't you amp up your digital spending compared to your traditional marketing spending because there are now less people outside in the malls and the trains and so on, and more people just staying home? Think about it. There must be higher love. Lots of music here in my head today. Twitter's also in the news. Twitter now said they're gonna enable tipping with Bitcoin. Hey, that's something super, like, it's 2021 Twitter. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin just catches on by like, hey, we accept Bitcoin. I used Bitcoin to pay for stuff back home in Berlin like years ago. So yeah, I mean, cool, good on you for Twitter, tipping with Bitcoin. Maybe also allow other cryptocurrency. I know ADA and so on, things that are people really into right now. Ethereum, obviously. They also plan to let users authenticate NFTs. How exactly it's going to look like on the Twitter platform remains to be seen, I believe. At least I haven't seen anything that really explains how this is going to work, but definitely a good idea, because right now authenticating NFTs is quite a process, right? So if you ever look into like how do I create an NFT or something like this, it's a bit technical, which is fair enough because it's an NFT. But if this would be easier, like via Twitter, for example, that would be a cool move. So that is something I would applaud Twitter for. But then everybody and their grandma will be like, I have an NFT. Yeah, let's see about this. But nice to see that big platforms like make it NFTs even more mainstream, of course. Speaking of big platforms and platforms who wish to be big, Clubhouse. Hey, anyone still on Clubhouse? I have a new phone that I film this on right now, or record this on, and I didn't even bother to download Clubhouse anymore. So Clubhouse now launches Wave, a new way to pull friends into audio chat. So if you have if you're running a Clubhouse session and you want to invite someone that's not on Clubhouse, you can send the wave, like they have a wave emoji. Just click on the wave emoji. I think you swipe it, and then you can invite people directly into your audio room. Desperate much? Remember, like a year ago, like it's just invite only. We won't let anybody, or like just everybody on the platform. Now it's like, please come invite your friends. Oh my God. Yeah, Clubhouse. Well done adapting to what people want. Not. That's like a bit like a BlackBerry. The BlackBerry development just faster, right? The BlackBerry was like the super phone when it came out. Like, oh my God, so awesome. Then iPhone and so on come out, but replace the BlackBerry somehow by being different, by having same capabilities but adding more, right? And BlackBerry was like, we don't need internet browser on our phones. Why would I have an internet browser on my phone? That's stupid. I use my phone to type on a manual keyboard and send emails. And other phones are like, that's cool. We have a browser. We have this. We have that. We have that. That's what happening with Clubhouse right now. And Clubhouse like, hey, but I was the first. Like I was the first who did like audio chats and stuff. And come to me. And it's like Twitter Spaces, Spotify Green Room, everybody, and again, everybody and their grandma have an audio chat right now, and they're all like having the Clubhouse model and more to it. And Clubhouse like, do that, but please, no Clubhouse, we don't want you anymore. Adjust, adapt. Survival of the fittest. Darwinism, digital Darwinism, here at work. Clubhouse, you're out. unless you find a way to adapt, of course. I also read while I was on the way here for the podcast that Netflix just acquired the whole catalog of Roald Dahl, which basically means Netflix is banking heavy on children's content. You assholes. I mean, no, don't take this out of context. Or do. I mean, no, actually, that is the context. So the context is, I mean, clearly what they're doing is like getting more kids' content on the platform to make kids watch more Netflix. And of course, then the parents will watch with them, right? Yeah, like, so, well, I mean, I think Roald Dahl is like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like the Beanstalk thingy. I just remember the German name, so I haven't watched those things ever since I started to speak English, I believe, but you know all those children's stories. So, yeah, smart move, a-hole move. No, not a-hole, but like, I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? It's not like it's an a-hole move, it's like fair game, it's like business, and it's smart, but it's like, I see what you're doing. You want to hook the kids more to Netflix so that they spend more time on Netflix than on YouTube, of course, yeah, obviously. But, so yeah, children's content. If you're at home like, what kind of content should I create? There you go. If the kids like it, the parents will spend money on it. Yeah. Actually, that's something that I'm going to discuss with my students in class. All right. Last thing before we go to the big topic. Chris Pratt as Mario. I'm just leaving this here. Nintendo had like the big event, right? Introduced like Nintendo Switch and whatever changes. I'm not a Nintendo person, so I'm sorry. Please don't hate me for it. I grew up with Sega. I had a Sega Mega Drive. I played Sonic the Hedgehog. Nintendo never really did it for me. When the Wii came out, like my friends were playing Wii, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I do sports outside. I'm sorry. Nerds. Now I'm the nerd. So, anyways, Mario movie announced again. I think they've been playing this since 2018 or so. Anyways, Chris Pratt as Mario. Congratulations, Chris Pratt. Animated movie. I don't know. Let's see what's I'm not going to watch it, but let's see what's going to happen. They also have Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, and Seth Rogen is also in there, as well as Keegan-Michael Key. So the cast is kind of cool. Still not going to watch it. But if you watch it, let me know. Or if you're excited about this, please do shout out. funkitpod@gmail.com. If you want to hate me, leave a review, a good one, and then send me a hateful message at funkitpod@gmail.com. Okay, last thing, because this week's going to be a very quick one, because there will be an awesome interview coming down the road. I'm super excited, by the way. I'm interviewing, and it's going to be on the channel Media Friday at funkitpod next week, Friday. I'm going to interview them today. My favorite IG, TikTok content creators. Yes. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. And yes, they're German. Well, Austrian, German, both. Like, yes, we can coexist together. Sometimes. Okay, the last thing I want to discuss today. And you all heard about it because it's been in the news the whole week. Elizabeth Holmes. Theranos. This was like the story, like a myth when it's been 10 years ago, 2011 when they started. Wasn't it? Around that, I believe, right? And like, yeah, it was like, man, have you heard of this? That's so crazy. Look at the startup. Oh my God, they're changing the world. And look at her with the turtleneck and so on. And you've heard the stories, right? What I found interesting right now, well, it is interesting, kind of. Not surprising, but interesting, is of course, because I always do this here on the podcast, like how the media portrays those things, right? And so right now, Elizabeth Holmes, the former CEO, founder of Theranos, is on trial for wire fraud and attempted wire fraud and whatnot, right? And then her co-founder, no one's really sure what actually was his role, because I think her lawyers, so the defending lawyers, they tried to make it look like he was the guy in charge and he made her do those things. But most statements, opposed that, and they're like, no, she was from in charge. They interviewed not interviewed. They had in the court, they had like General Mattis in court, like a former general from the U.S., defense secretary, And he was on the board for I think 2 or 3 years or so of Theranos, and he's like, no, she was clearly in charge. She told us what to do and what to say and how to talk to the press and so on. She was the one who gave them information and no one else. So it seems like she was firmly in charge of everything. Also. Of her deep voice. That's why I tried this in the beginning of the podcast with the deep voice, because apparently she just used this deep voice. It was a fake voice, just to, I know, appear more manly or like more in charge, and then apparently that helped to secure funding and so on. People are stupid. I mean, the people who believed her were stupid. That she tried it, fair enough. Anyway, so she's in court, and the media, of course, is eating it up. And why wouldn't it? Because like 10 years ago, the media was like, oh my God, Theranos is changing the world. Yeah, now, of course, Theranos, that itch, like look at her, and she's trying to frame now that other dude and so on. And most media outlets are now actually on the same page, kind of like, of course, hating on Elizabeth Holmes, which is understandable because she deserved it. Usually you would find media outlets that would be like, but maybe it was him. I haven't seen any. I have seen media outlets that say, yeah, but the defense says that he was it, that he did all the stuff, and she just followed him. But that's like just basically explaining what the defensive tactics are for Elizabeth Holmes. So I haven't seen any major, maybe there are blog posts, but any major media outlet out there that takes the side of Elizabeth Holmes, which usually always happens. So there's like one who tries to be edgy or something and jumps on the side of the defendant. In this case, not really. So that's interesting, but of course, well earned. Then also like, the way they treat it, of course, and they're not talking much to the media, obviously, which makes it a bit. I don't know how to explain it. It makes it a bit harder, of course, to figure out what's actually going on, because now what we rely on as audience is, of course, only the media coverage, right? And the media covers those events like the media does. So meaning, it needs to be dramatic, crazy things need to happen, because otherwise, if it's just like another day in court, another day on trial, you don't care, I don't care, no one cares, right? So the media now, of course, needs to make a huge drama of it, and it is a huge deal. Don't get me wrong, of course it is. I just wonder if it is as dramatic as the media makes it out to be. Because, I mean, the facts that we're getting, like leave the drama aside, the facts that we're getting seem to be clear. It's fraud. She clearly did that. So it should be easy. But the media now every day, of course, talks about it because it's such a famous case and tries to add more drama to it, like the drama between her and her co-founder, former lover, whatever they were, between her and then General Mattis and her and who else was on the board and investors or Oprah or whoever invested there. I'm sure they're going to drag more people through the mud there. Yeah, so just so to keep the drama high. So what I'm expecting those next few days, weeks even, is more drama being added there, like more investors being found, because lots of famous people invested in Theranos. I've been on the board maybe even. So I'm sure the media is going to go after more board members. They're going to find out who else was investor. They're going to drag those investors in front of the camera. They will try this first with famous people. If famous people, celebs say, I don't want any of this, no, leave me alone. I already lost my money or whatever. No. Then they're going to go for non-celebs and try like, hey, you invested there, like you invested 50K or something. Come here, talk about it. Just to add more drama. It's going to be like, yeah, I invested 50K as my life savings. I'm sure this is all going to happen. This probably all happened already when they were getting information to put her on trial, but I think now it's going to happen in regards to media coverage. The media is going to eat up all those things just to make you, me, everybody go, that, click on it and read and watch and whatnot. All right, so that's my expectation in regards to the Elizabeth Holmes thing. I don't want to go too much into like speculation here, of course, because I mean that doesn't help anyone. I'm focusing more on like the media coverage again, and I think now that General Mattis was on the stand in court, I think now we will see more investors, former board members, colleagues, and so on taking the stand and then being dragged all through the media. So keep an eye out for this. I would be curious to see though, like just your overall thoughts on this whole Elizabeth Holmes Theranos thing that's happening right now, because I've always wondered how could it come that far? Like now, if I would start a startup right now, right? And I mean, I did before. So if you start a startup, like everybody's looking into you. Why did nobody look into that like more closely? Everyone blinded by her deep voice, her turtleneck, and that she's a woman. Crazy, right? So let me know your thoughts. Social media or send social media at funkitpod or send me an email funkitpod@gmail.com. As always, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate this thing. That's really helpful so that more people can find it. That would be cool. More interviews also coming. Like I said, tonight I have to stay up late to interview those guys in a different time zone, but it's going to be worth it. I'm excited on the channel here next week. So let me know if you want anything in particular elaborated on. I'm also prepping a few more explainer videos and podcasts. They are coming soon in regards to media studies and how to understand media and so on. So stay tuned for this. If you want anything in particular, shout out, let me know. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you and talk to you soon. Sawadee krap.